What's going on, guys, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. Now, for those of you who have been here since the beginning, you have probably met Marissa before, and there's a reason that she hasn't been on the channel for a little bit, and I just felt like it was something we had to address for, one, the people that are here, and two, because people since the beginning have been asking, where's Marissa? Why isn't she in more videos? We loved her videos. So obviously we had a lot of fun doing this together, but I'll just let her give you the news. We're having a baby! Stick around to the end of the video to find out if it's a boy or a girl. Appreciate y'all. So that's the big news. That's obviously why Marissa has not been drinking with me because, well, she can't. But to keep her involved, we're going to have her pour up these Basil Hayden and Bulleit 10-year in honor of October, which is the month that we're expecting our new baby. Can't tell you quite yet. So here we go. Pour them up.
I gotta tell you guys, I don't miss bourbon. That's one alcohol that I do not miss.
You're drinking other alcohol?
No, like there's other ones that I miss.
Oh,
is that good? I don't even remember how to pour. What?
What?
Is this a hard one to open? Okay. Thank you. There's a hair in this glass.
Appreciate that.
I didn't spill.
That's good. So this is not going to be a blind tasting, but we are going to taste both of these and see who's going to be the winner of the 10-year. And then at the end, we'll announce in a special way if it's a boy or a girl. Let's get into it. Sorry about that. I had to get changed real quick. Much more comfortable in my Flyers attire and a hat on than combing my hair. By the way, shout out Flyers. Hope we can get rid of Jakub Voracek sometime soon. You can argue with me about that another time. But here we have it. Bulleit 10-year, Basil 10-year. A lot of people doing 10-year reviews right now. We also had the Russell's Reserve 10-year that we thought about. Eagle Rare, an obvious 10-year that everybody knows about. And the McKenna Henry 10-year. But those are single barrels. These are more, I would say, readily available than a lot of those bottles. Maybe not the Russells. But we're going to start with these two. We're not going to rank them specifically. We're more going to do price, taste, drinkability across the board and see which wins out of these two. Maybe another time we'll get together and rank these individually. But we're going to start here with the Bulleit 10-year, and we're going to go. Time for the traditional sip. Let's try it. It's not too bad. So this Bulleit 10-year comes in at 68% corn, 28% rye, which leaves us with 816, 4% malted barley. This comes in at 91.2 proof, so this is a little bit higher proof than our Basil Hayden's. Still that same rye amount though, so we'll talk about the mash bill on the Basil Hayden's in a little bit. But this is a high rye mash bill. Now my story with both of these bottles, they both have a special spot in my heart. Basil Hayden's, now the originals, not the 10 years of these. The original Basil Hayden's was one of the first bourbons that I've ever had. My stepfather-in-law, when he got me involved in bourbon, he loved Basil's, so that's what I tried first, and I absolutely loved it. I still recommend it as one of my top recommendations for somebody new to the bourbon world, just because I think gives you all those flavor profiles that you're really looking for. It's not the most expensive, but it's not the cheapest bottle. And at that 80 proof, it really allows you to, get rid of that drinkability side of things that we always talk about, get rid of that ethanol taste, and really appreciate an actual flavor profile. Bulleit, though, was one of my first bourbons that I fell in love with. Bulleit is so versatile. I use it for cocktails. I use it straight. People can throw an ice cube on it. The high rye mash bill gives it a little bit more flavor. And coming in at 91 proof on this, do I still have? I do. This one comes in at 90 proof. So it's just a tick above the original Bulleit. So we'll see if that has anything, if that 10-year really does anything to make this stand out. One, against this, and then two, maybe we'll try the Bulleit and the Basil. Actually, I don't know if I have any Basil original right now. I think I am all out. Look at that. Boom. All out. So we won't try it against that, but maybe we'll try the Bulleit and see how that one goes. But let's get into this. Price, taste, drinkability, we're going to go back and forth on these, and we're going to start with drinkability as we always do. For 91 proof, you're not going to expect too much of a kick. I'm comparing it to the 80 proof on this though, so let's keep in mind they are an 11 proof difference, so that is going to give Bulleit the slight advantage when it comes to, well, it's going to give Basil the advantage on drinkability, but I think it's going to give Bulleit the advantage on taste, which is kind of how it fares on the originals as well, right? The Bulleit is very smooth, very easy to drink, almost tastes a little bit watered down, but sometimes that's what you want, where the Bulleit really has that flavor profile, that rye that really stands out. So drinkability on this, 91.2 proof, did I say? 91.2 proof. Let's take one more sip, then we're going to try the Basils and we'll see who wins this. competition, I should say. See, that's really easy, really smooth to drink. At 91.2 proof, you get a little bit of that rye kick, but that's really it. Let's get into this basil here, and before we get started on this, time for the traditional sip. This might be surprising to me, actually. I really thought the basils would be like outlandishly better when it came to drinkability on this, just because of that 11 proof difference. Basil almost sips just as easy, I guess. I guess Basil's doesn't sip easy. Bulleit sips easy. For 91.2 proof, they sip almost the same, to be quite honest with you. There's no real big ethanol kick with this. Maybe I have COVID and I don't know if I can taste these or what, but there's no real big ethanol kick with either one of these. They're very similar when it comes to the ethanol, and that's an 11 proof difference that you're talking about. So Bulleit definitely does a good job here of taking the ethanol in this out of the equation. Now, I don't know if that's because that extra, I mean, it's only what, 1% more corn. Did we go over the mash bill on the Basil's? I don't think we did. Basil's is 63% corn, 27% rye, which leaves us with 10% malted barley. So it is 63 instead of 68. So it's 5% more on corn. So you'd think it'd have a little bit more sweetness, which is maybe what I'm getting out of the Bulleit that hides that ethanol so well, where this is giving me more of that rye kick. But they drink very similar. It is only, what, 26 and 27, or 27 and 28% rye. So they're very close on that rye spice. But at the same time, maybe that extra corn sweetness really does give Bulleit the advantage here. This is going to be close. I mean, I almost have to give it to Bulleit just because if the drinkability is that similar and you're talking about an 11 proof difference, it's no questions asked, right? It's got to come down to the Bulleit. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to give this one to Bulleit here. Bulleit wins drinkability. They're very evenly matched, but again, with that 11 proof difference, this is 80 proof, right? Yeah, 80 proof. That's surprising, actually. I did not expect them to be that close. Bulleit's going to win our drinkability on this. Let's get it over into taste. Now, when it comes to taste on these two bourbons, I'm disappointed. So I thought maybe that 10-year age, especially with the Basil Haydens, I thought maybe that 10-year age statement behind it would really bring out some crazy profiles that I wasn't expecting from a Bulleit or from a Basil. Now, when you talk about Bulleit bourbon and you talk about Basil Haydens, you're talking about the essence of bourbon, the Jim Beam, like what is bourbon supposed to taste like? And at least that's the way I saw it. Bulleit's that high rye mash bill. You're getting the vanilla, you're getting the caramel, you're getting the oak, but you're really getting that high rye mash bill. Now, Basil's is also a high rye mash bill, but they definitely tone it down by bringing it down to that 80 proof. So while you still get to appreciate a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of oak, it's very watered down, which gives you that easy sipping, smooth flavor profile that I enjoyed when I first got into bourbon. But then you add an age statement to this of 10 years, and you start to almost imagine that it should bring out more oak, more leather, more of these deeper sweetnesses that come out of the barrel after 10 years of age. But you don't really get that with either of these. As far as the Basils goes, this one stood out to me more as far as the flavor profiles. All I really get on this is oak, which obviously being in there for 10 years, it's going to get oak, vanilla, and maybe a hint of caramel, and then obviously that high rye. But I'm not getting any like fruit flavors. I'm not getting anything extra special. It's kind of just like the original Basil Haydens as far as I remember it on steroids. It's nothing unique. It's nothing special. It doesn't really have anything that stands out to it. Let's take another sip and just see. Yeah, there's almost like a licorice taste to it, which isn't my favorite usually as well. I don't get a lot of the Jim Beam nuttiness, although I don't think I really got that on the Basil's regular as well. This one's just kind of bland, kind of blah. Not my favorite. That 10-year age statement, I really thought it would do something for me, but it kind of just tastes like Basil Haydens, just older, I guess, maybe. A little bit more oak and a little less water. I don't know. Not really my favorite when it comes to the taste profile on that. Let's get over to the Bulleit and try this one as well. Now you guys can yell at me and be like, well, you're not cleansing your palate in between sips. I don't really care. You can definitely distinguish the two between these. Maybe I should have did it blind. This one, it does have a little bit more flavor profile, but again, for being in there 10 years, maybe a little bit of a leather note that I wouldn't get on the original Bulleit. Sorry about that. A little bit more of a leather note, a little bit more of an oak note, and then just that vanilla caramel and that rye, and that's about it. It's very, again, bland for a 10-year bourbon. Now, when I'm comparing this to, like we talked about before, Eagles or Russell's Reserve 10-year blows both of these out of the water. Henry McKenna 10-year blows all of these out of the water. And it's just, I mean, I guess when we get into price on these, even McKenna's only $50. Russell's single barrel runs $55. It's surprising to me that this doesn't have a more complex flavor profile by adding that 10-year age statement on there. This is an undisclosed company, obviously. It comes out of Diageo, but the distillery is unknown. This one coming out of Jim Beam. So Jim Beam definitely knows what they're doing. Bulleit definitely always put out a good product, but this one here just seems to be blah. Both of them seem to be blah on the taste profile. Can I just minus them out and say they're even suckiness? I don't know. We got to pick a winner, though. And I'm just going to give it to Bulleit. It doesn't deserve to be the winner. At least in here, I guess it does. But as far as like an overall taste profile, I'm just curious. Do a quick bottle pull here. But I'm just curious how this compares to the original Bulleit. I don't know. I feel like I almost like this Bulleit better than I like the 10-year. And we'll find out in a sec. Okay, so it's definitely got something extra. It definitely doesn't taste quite as young as this Bulleit here, but it doesn't taste like it should compare to most 10-year bourbons. But that's just me. I'm gonna give it to Bulleit, but only by a little margin. And last but not least, that's obviously gonna get us into price on these. And I hate to say this, but $45 versus $60. Now, Bulleit, I think, is a $35 bottle, and then Basil's is usually a $40 bottle, so they're not that far off here, but at 45 and 60, you're kind of pushing that gap a little bit further. Now, you can already see where this is going. Basil lost on taste and drinkability. Bulleit won on taste and drinkability, and it's $15 cheaper. Plus, you add 11 proof to it. Why is Basil Hayden's putting out a 10-year-old bourbon? So I buy it, and I can tell you how crappy it is, I guess. And I don't like talking down on, especially something coming out of such a well-known name as Jim Beam, but I don't know what they're trying to do here. Now, this is artfully aged. It almost tastes artificially aged. Crafted using the high rye bourbon recipe that makes Basil Hayden's bourbon so unique. Questionable. The special release is aged 10 years, adding complexity and deeper flavor than to an already intriguing spirit. I'm not too sure. I don't know what that has to offer that the Basil original doesn't have to offer. It tastes almost the same with maybe the age to it, but obviously that's what, I don't know. I don't know what Basil's is trying to do here. And I really don't know what Bulleit's trying to do here, because this, I mean, $35 versus $45. Would I spend the extra $10 to get the 10-year? Probably not. I think their original stuff is fantastic, so I don't know if I would ever spend the extra $10 to get the extra 10-year. Well, it's obviously not 10 years longer, but you get the point. So the question is, who wins price? And the answer is obvious. We're going to give it to Bulleit for price. Let's send it over to this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week, and we can find out the gender of my soon-to-be child. You guys interested? So for this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week, we're going to do something special here and go over the gender of my soon-to-be child. Now, we've got Rabbit Hole. We love Rabbit Hole in this family. We've got the Derringer. We've got the High Gold. These are two fantastic bottles if you haven't already picked them up. Obviously, we got red. We got blue. Now, the question is, what are we going to pour up? And what is my future child born in October, which is why we're doing the 10-year, going to be? Is it going to be the High Gold? Is it going to be the Derringer? We do not know, but the question is boy or girl, and we are having, oh, we're spilling, but we are having a girl, ladies and gentlemen. That's right, this October, baby girl Littlewood will be here in the world with us. So cheers to you guys. That's why Marissa hasn't been a part of a lot of these videos. One, she can't drink, and two, she's just too tired to do it. So here's to me, my future family. Appreciate you guys. If you want to send us a gift, click that subscribe button. Free, easy, makes me happy. She doesn't really care, but at the same time, it'll make her happy too when I'm happy. So thank you guys for supporting me up until this point. Let's get back over to the full review, and I can pick out our winner, which you guys obviously already know. Cheers. Gotta finish that. So that's right, guys. Our baby girl will be here this October. I am very excited. I want to make sure that I keep doing this for you guys, but I can promise you I might be a little bit more tired than I usually am, but that's all right because we're here for the content, baby. But this is it. Bulleit versus Basil. 10 years. October. Great month. Capricorn. I made that up. I don't even know what she's going to be. I'm a Virgo. September, October. Is she still a Virgo? I don't know. Okay, Google. What month sign is October. Libra or Scorpio, so we'll find out which one's which. She's right in the middle there. I guess she could be either one. Who really cares? I don't believe how the stars align, but here we go. The stars aligned for this one, and the winner is, you guessed it, Bulleit Bourbon, coming in with a 3-0 knockout over Basil Hayden's, and it wasn't even close. I couldn't believe this. I thought Basil's would take drinkability. I thought Bulleit would take the taste, but then I thought price we would leave up to how big of a demand it took, or how big of a lead it took over both of those categories, but it wasn't. It wasn't close at all. Cheaper, better tasting, easier drinking, 11 proof more. What else do you need? Don't buy Basil 10-year. Buy Basil 10-year. I don't want to tell you what to buy and what not to buy. I guess that's probably why you're here, or not. But buy the Bulleit. Bulleit 10-year. Buy the regular Bulleit. Save yourself all the money. Go buy regular Bulleit and regular Basils. You'll be just as happy. It'll taste just as good. You won't be disappointed by spending an extra, $20 here, $10 here. Just keep with what you got. Keep with what you know. Drink the Bulleit original. Drink the Basil original. You'll like them just as much, I promise you. But that's where we're going to end things. Make sure you check me out on Instagram. Every Tuesday we drop an image of the bourbon that we're going to review. You can go on and try and guess the score. If you guess the closest, I'll shout you out on the channel, as well as enter you in a monthly drawing to win some cool prizes. We're giving out a bunch of koozies, custom glasses. I got 24 more coming from Barrel Raised. Make sure you check him out on Instagram as well. I'll tag him below. But also come join me on Patreon. Come join me on Discord. Come chat with us. Talk flyers. Talk everything you want to know about whiskey and bourbon. And on Patreon, if you want to help support the channel, I know I'm going to be broke here coming soon. Diapers aren't cheap. So make sure you check me out on both of those as well. As always, stay healthy, stay happy, and stay drinking, guys. Cheers.